Good morning and welcome to English for Presentation class. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sherly Dita Hutami and I'm responsible for one of students from Merdeka Malang University. In today's presentation, I'd like to explain one of Tarakan's culture, Iraw Tengkayu Festival. If there are any questions you'd like to ask, please leave them until the end when I'll do my best to answer them. Okay. In today's presentation, I'd like to cover 3 points. The first one is I'll explaining with what the Iraw Tengkayu Festival is, and then I'll move on to its main activity and philosophy. And finally, I'll recap before concluding with other activities in the festival. Okay, now let's get the ball rolling. But before I start, does anyone know about Iraw Tengkayu Festival? Iraw Tengkayu
No.
Festival. Okay, Iraw Tengkayu Festival is a traditional ceremony originating from the Tidung tribe that has been carried out from generation to generation. Iraw comes from the Tidung language, which means celebration or party, while Tengkayu is a small island surrounded by the sea. So, the Iraw Tengkayu Festival is a party as a form of God sustenance on the small island, namely Tarakan, which is the 17th richest city in Indonesia. The festival has also been designated as an intangible heritage by the Ministry of Education and Culture. Well, I've told you about the Iraw Tengkayu and his festival, his history. Sorry. Okay, next, let's move on to the main activity of the festival. In this festival, the main activity is the process of floating Padaw to Judulung. Padaw comes from the Tidung language, which means boat, and Tujudulung is a 7 poles on the boat, which symbolize the number of days in a week. Boat floating process is a symbol of community life in seeking daily livelihoods as a fisherman. Next. Okay. Then the yachts bring the Padaw to Judulung after being painted in 3 different colors, which are the distinctive color of the Tidung tribe. At the top is yellow, which symbolizes glory, honor, and majesty, or something that is exalted. At the middle is green, which symbolizes trust, confidence, or respected immigrants. And at the bottom is red, which symbolizes firmness. Besides that, the tallest pillar is symbolized the Almighty God as a supreme ruler of the universe. And then in the center of Padaw Tujudulung were installed 5 pools, which symbolize of worship for Muslims who worship 5 times a day. In addition, in the center of Padaw Tujudulung, there has been a place that resembles a house called Maligai. It is offering containing food that has been released into the sea. So that's an overview of the activity in the festival. Next. Now we'll move on to the other activities in the festival. In addition to the traditional ceremony, the Iraw Tengkayu Festival also holds competitions. For example, boat decoration, seafood competition, 10-kilometer marathon running, and many more. Besides, an expo is also held at the festival that shows the entire culture of Tarakan, like music parades and dance parades as the entertainment. That's all I have to say about the other activities in the festival. Okay. Well, that brings us to the end of the final section. Now, I'd like to summarize the main points about the Iraw Tengkayu Festival. The festival is a traditional ceremony originating from the Tidung tribe as the form of gratitude for God's sustenance on Tarakan Island. The activities in the festival are floating a boat called Padaw Tujuh Dulung as the main activity and holds competition and an expo. This festival should be preserved by future generation because it is one of the many regional festivals that are able to introduce Indonesian culture to the international. Finally, I'd like to finish by thanking you for your attention and interest. If anyone has any question, please feel free to ask them.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before that, I would like to appreciate you as a presenter and a good job for you. So next to my question, first, is this celebration held every year or how many times is this celebration will be held? And then my second question, is there any special day like in Japanese tradition? There are many traditional ceremonies held in the moon Suro and Rajab. Whether this celebration Iraw Tengkayu is held based on a special day or can it be held at any time? That's all my question. Thank you.
That's a good question. Thank you, Neva. So the question are, how many times is the festival would be held? And it is any special day for the festival. Okay. The Iraw Tengkayu Festival is held once every 2 years. And yes, there is a special day for the festival because it held in December on the anniversary of Tarakan City. Does the answer your question is enough?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's bring us to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Good morning.